Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation on Android with ARMSX2. And ARMSX2 has some very exciting news. For those who may not be aware, ARMSX2 is an unofficial PCSX2 port to Android. So here's a couple of announcements over on their Discord. The Android version of ARMSX2 will be officially released in open source this month. Moonpower is closing in on 1.0 fast, and the Android release will be ready soon. We thank you for all your continued patience during development. And Moonpower says, also, I can now personally attest of the development of the macOS port. You should see it very soon. But wait, there's more. They say in order to release on the Google Play Store, we need 14 active testers for our closed testing track. Please fill in this form and we will choose 14 amongst you to partake in it. So ARMSX2 is headed to Google Play. If you are interested in this and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. And speaking about PlayStation 2 emulation, next up here we're talking about Play, which is a free and open source PlayStation 2 emulator that does not require a BIOS. And this one is available for Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS, and even in a browser. And Play has been making some significant progress. So Literal Mente Game, who does a lot of testing for Play, has a brand new Patreon post which I would recommend checking out. And as for new verified playable games, Play now has Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Final Mix. And there's a lot of information about the testing and the performance of these games in that Patreon post. And as for the overall compatibility with Play, I'd say it's improving in leaps and bounds. They've tested here 2,632 games, and 47.99% of those games are listed as playable. I would say Play is something to keep your eye on. And speaking about emulation, next up here we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Eden, and Eden has some brand new news. So according to an announcement on their Discord, it looks like they've got The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild up and running at 30 frames per second on a Snapdragon 8 Elite. And speaking about announcements, next up here we're talking about Fallout London, which has just announced their Rabbit and Pork DLC. Now we've talked about Fallout London in previous videos, and for those who may not be aware, it's a massive mod for Fallout 4. It's like a DLC-sized mod, and it's 100% free. And anyways, this DLC-sized mod now has more free DLC. And they say here this major update doesn't just add new content, it reshapes parts of the game based on your feedback and fixes thousands of issues identified since launch. We've poured a huge amount of effort into making this the most polished and complete experience possible. The DLC update includes 80 fully voiced NPCs with 8,000 plus new dialogue lines, 30 new quests and minigames, 30 new weapons and armors, 70 random encounters, new animal companion and player home, new content for early faction introductions, and thousands of bug fixes and improvements. Furthermore here, the Fallout London team announced a brand new Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter has already been fully funded. It only took 6 hours. And they say here it's an exclusive merch collection celebrating the world and community behind the acclaimed Fallout London mod. So taking a look at the project, and at the time of filming here, they've raised 40,341 Canadian dollars of a $28,186 goal. So 15,000 pounds, and they've raised 21,469 pounds. This has been ultra successful so far, and taking a look, and the tiers seem very reasonable. I mean, the tiers start at 10 pounds for a deck of playing cards, and then there's a plushie, there's some caps, and even more stuff here. Again, if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. And speaking about announcements, next up we're talking about Logitech, who have just announced the MX Master 4, which includes haptic feedback. Now there are a couple of things I wanted to point out. First and foremost, they say 8K DPI any surface tracking, and it appears to be working on a semi-glossy surface, which might be very good. And secondly here, they say built to last. and I'm curious if this mouse is still going to have rubber on it or if they've shifted to completely plastic. I'll have to watch some reviews to find out. Personally, I'm more of a fan of a completely plastic mouse and not having to worry about that rubber degrading over time. Now, given the state of the overall global economy, I'm kind of surprised the pricing on these didn't completely skyrocket. So in Canada here, they're $160. In the States, I think they're $120. And there's 3 different colors available. Overall, I've heard good things about the MX Master 3, and I'm curious to know about the MX Master 4. If you've got one, if you've used one, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking about new stuff and changes, next up we're talking about EA. Now, we talked about EA just the other day when it was reported they were bought for $55 billion. And now there's been a lot of speculation as to the future of EA, and I would argue here the future does not necessarily seem gamer-friendly, per se. So there's a new article up on Rock Paper Shotgun that I would recommend checking out, and it's titled, EA's new owners are making a huge bet on generative AI cost-cutting to help repay a $20 billion loan. So it seems as if EA is gearing up to do what they do today, but faster, cheaper, and at a higher quality. And I would argue a lot of companies are kind of trying to do that to generate a bigger profit. And I would also argue that faster and cheaper does not always equal higher quality. Furthermore, there are some additional rumors floating around that EA may eventually look at porting some of their marquee titles to mobile devices and making them free to play, and then charging players for certain features in-game. We're going to have to wait and see what happens moving forward on this one, but I am concerned for EA's future here. If they're really prioritizing profits over customer experience, that's a can of worms. But anyways, here, if that is the case and they're putting it into overdrive, that may not bode well for the company moving forward. That may turn away gamers from their products. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about arguably doing stuff that's not resonating well with gamers, next up here we're talking about Capcom. And this has been making the rounds, and I for one am not happy about it, but here is the title, and well, you can probably expect the response. Street Fighter VI's Capcom Cup Finals will be pay-per-view, and fans are furious. I'd recommend checking out the article over on The Gamer for more information on this matter, and there's a couple of very interesting quotes here. One, this is an absolute joke, but I suppose that $1 million prize needs funding. Can you imagine if this is the same presentation as currently with the nearly 1-to-1 ratio of games to ads as well? And this comment here, I don't think that they understand what kind of crowd they're dealing with. This isn't wrestling. And I mean, if I head to YouTube here and type in just Capcom Cup and take a search for it, well, there's a couple of top videos here from Sajum and Brian F. And, well, there's others talking about what exactly is going on. And listen to these titles. They're making Capcom Cup pay-per-view. It now costs $40 to watch Capcom Cup. Capcom, what are you doing? Now, I'll be honest with you, and without going on too much of a rant here, as a member of the fighting game community, although I'm not nearly as active as I used to be, but still kind of active, as a casual member of the fighting game community, I've got little to no interest to pay to watch Capcom Cup Finals. And that's not a slight against the players, the competition, or my overall interest in watching the finals. It's just, I don't want to pay to watch them. I'd rather just read who won the next day and watch the finals online at some point in time because I speculate that they'd be posted. I'm guessing here that the audience who would pay to watch the Capcom Cup Finals is not nearly as large as Capcom would hope, and I don't think it's the right audience they're marketing to. But who knows here? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off base or out in left field, and this is a really hot take. But at the same time, I don't think so. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and if you'd be willing to pay to watch the Capcom Cup Finals. And speaking about paying for stuff, next up we're talking about the exact opposite, not paying for stuff. We're talking about Doom 3 Phobos, which is a community-made mod for, you guessed it, Doom 3. And it just released and it's 100% free. Now it is worth noting here, they say in order to launch the mod, make sure that the Steam version of the original Doom 3 and Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil is installed. But taking a look at the gameplay and the screenshots, it does look pretty interesting. They say AI is used for one select character voice. And speaking about free stuff, next up here we're switching to emulation and talking about Ample, which is a single, more user-friendly front end for using MAME as an Apple II emulator. requires Mac OS X 10.14 Plus. Ample just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Ample version 0.281 is the latest update, and this brings it up to the mainline version of MAME here, version 0.281. And speaking about front-end stuff, next up we're talking about Playnite, which is an open-source video game library manager and launcher with support for third-party libraries like Steam, Epic, GOG, EA App, Battle.net, and others. And Playnite just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 10.40 of Playnite is the latest update, and 10.40 and 10.39 are recent bug fix updates to their big update here, version 10.38. So with version 10.38, there's a bunch of bug fixes here to make the application even better, and they've also added the option to assign user score in full screen's game menu. And speaking about stuff that works with different systems or applications or emulators. Next up here, we're talking about Nemulator, which is a multi-system emulator for Windows. And Nemulator just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, the latest update here is version 5.0. And with this latest update, they've introduced Sega Genesis support. Next up, we're shifting back to paid stuff here and talking about a pretty big controversy in regards to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. So Xbox posted this on October 1st, and it's titled Updates to Xbox Game Pass, Introducing Essential, Premium, and Ultimate Plans. And you can probably guess that prices are going up, and going up significantly by up to 50%. So taking a look at the official Xbox Wire blog post, and Microsoft is saying that Ultimate is now priced at $29.99 a month, so basically $30 a month, where previously it was $19.99 a month, and basically $20 a month. And if my math is mathing, that's a 50% increase. So here's the three tiers. Essential is priced at $9.99 a month. Premium is priced at $14.99 a month. And Ultimate is $29.99 a month. That's over $300 per year. And taking a look at PC has also increased. I think it was like $12 a month, and now it's $16.50 a month, or $16.49 per month if you wanted to be specific. From my understanding, cloud streaming is now available across all three platforms, and on top of that, they're saying that Game Pass Ultimate just got its biggest upgrade yet. I would argue biggest upgrade in terms of pricing. Absolutely yes. Now, I'm not going to lie here, and I think I said this one in a previous video, where I used to think Xbox Game Pass was a pretty good deal, a fair deal to get access to a whole bunch of games without having to buy a whole bunch of different games. However, based on the recent pricing changes, I no longer feel that way. Maybe I'm off base here. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below and what you think about these changes to Xbox Game Pass. And speaking about Xbox stuff, next up we're talking about the upcoming ASUS Xbox ROG Ally X. And it appears that Amazon France has shipped these things a little bit early by a couple of weeks, and some people already have their hands on them. Based on this person's early impressions with it, the handheld appears to be good. Very curious to see if more people get these things early, or if Amazon France was unique in shipping them a few weeks early. And speaking about interesting stuff, next up here we're quickly talking about the Raspberry Pi. And Raspberry Pi OS has just been updated to bring it in line with Debian 13 Trixie. So if you're a fan of Raspberry Pi OS, you may want to check out the latest and greatest version here. Now, they do point out here, and this is worth noting, they say, as with all major version upgrades, we do not recommend or support attempting to upgrade a running bookworm image. And I do believe this is using Linux kernel 6.12. And speaking about new stuff, next up we're talking about Amazon Luna, which is still around and apparently is being revamped. They're going to be introducing a whole bunch of new stuff to this, including a brand new celebrity AI court game featuring Snoop Dogg. So they say right here in their video description, we're excited to announce that later this year, we will be launching a completely redesigned and reimagined Amazon Luna that combines innovative social party games with amazing blockbusters to make every night in your house the perfect game night to share with your family and friends. These new additions are all included with Prime at no additional cost. Feel free to check out their trailer for more information on the matter. This announcement actually surprised me. I was not expecting it. And speaking about surprising announcements, next up we're talking about Icy Tower. If you're familiar with Icy Tower, you might be excited to know that this game is being re-released in 2026. and the game has been built from the ground up, or rebuilt from the ground up. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a release date or price just yet, but it is up on Steam available to be wishlisted. And speaking about stuff coming soon, next up we're talking about Voxel Duke Nukem. If you're a fan of Duke Nukem, a fan of seeing the game in a way you may not have seen it before, Voxel Duke Nukem appears to be on the way. Unfortunately, I don't have a release date. But moving on and speaking about stuff I know has released, next up here we're talking about the Halloween Island, which is a Super Mario World hack for the SNES. And the Halloween Island has just released here, and it gives a spooky adventure, a spooky twist on Super Mario World. And speaking about stuff just releasing, next up here we're talking about Marvel Cosmic Invasion. While the full game of this has not released just yet, it's set to release at some point in 2025, and time is quickly running out. The demo has just dropped on Steam. When this game was first unveiled, a lot of people seemed really excited about it. The gameplay on this one looks super cool. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about stuff that looks super cool, next up we're talking about Mad King Redemption. This game is kind of like 2.5D here. I guess they say it right in the description. This is coming soon to early access, has just popped up on Steam, and here's something you may want to put on your wish list as well, or at least check out and possibly learn more about. And yes, fortunately, the demo for this game is already out, so it is available to test out and see how you like it. I do like the art style in this game, and I'm curious to see how it is. And speaking about demos, next up here we're talking about Astro Burn. And Astro Burn has a brand new demo available on Steam. I believe that this game is going to be released on console and mobile. But anyways, here on Steam, there is a brand new demo available with the game listed as coming soon. If you're a fan of shoot-em-ups, this may be up your alley. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and the legendary one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.